Namaste and welcome. My name is Sherry Dawn and thank you for joining me today. Today's practice, we will be focusing on the hands, the arms, the shoulders, and then moving gently to the trunk. We will be using blankets and straps in today's practice. If any of my suggestions today do not work appropriately for your body, please honor your boundaries while gently testing your limits. Again, I thank you for joining me, and please join me on your mat. Come on to our mat. Why don't you get a blanket or your bolster or what have you and get your hips up. And then let the legs kind of drop down. So we're going to come into a nice easy seated position here for just a few moments. So if you need your legs out and your knees bent, please be there. Whatever is nice and comfortable for you. And bring the hands to, again, a nice comfortable spot in your lap or on your knee, so wherever is good. Plug that tailbone into the earth and gently engage that pelvic floor, Mula Bandha or Kegel, drawing the sex organs and the rectum up. Gently draw the navel in towards the spine. Exhale. Completely empty the body of any toxicity or harboring at this moment. Inhale. Allow that pelvic floor to soften. The belly pops out. The diaphragm drops down. Buddha belly. Fill the lungs to capacity from the bottom to the middle to the top. Pause the breath for just a moment. Exhale through engagement of the pelvic floor, the navel. Squeeze through the transverse abdominis and the ribs. Exhale completely. Next, inhale. Turn the eyes up towards the center of the forehead, middle of the brain. Fill the body with air. Pause. And begin your exhale through the pelvic floor contraction, navel to the spine. Squeeze the air from the body. Practice this in your own time, your own tempo. Few more long, deep, slow breaths. Gazing up to your higher self. Eyes closed 9/10 of the way. On the next sequential inhale, we bring those palms together at the heart center. Press the base of the thumbs into the sternum and help the heart to lift and open. Relax the elbows and shoulders down. And at this time, set an intention to your practice and possibly a little added 2021 intention. And then thank yourself for arriving on your mat and giving this time to yourself on this first day of a new year. Practicing our self-care, self-love, so that we may care for others as we all heal. One more big, long, deep breath in. Fill the lungs to capacity. And then gently engage the pelvic floor. Press the palms together. Gaze up to the crown of the head, middle of the forehead. Seal your intention for practice. Exhale. Inhale, shoot the fingers to the sky. Keeping the spine long and avoiding deep extension here, just gently start to look up with the eyes. A little tiny tilt of the head back. Exhale. Release the hands down to the sides, floating down like feathers to the earth. Inhale, reaching those hands up. A little gaze up, avoiding too much extension in the low back. Exhale, release those hands down. One more. Let's go ahead and hold our hands up, cactus arms, and squeeze and relax the hands a few times. Then shake the hands out a little bit. We're going to go through and do some finger squeezes. So taking one of your hands with the opposite hand, give a little squeeze to that pointer finger at the top of the finger. Again, take up two of the joints, give a little squeeze, then go down, take up all the joints, give a little squeeze. Go through each one of those fingers. Just a little squeeze, nothing painful. Just starting to rid all of what's harbored in those fingers. Last one. Now the thumb only has two joints here, so squeezing the end, squeezing the entire thumb, and then grab the side of the hand and give that little thumb a little bit of massage through that pad of the hand. Now come down to the wrist, and if your wrists are really tight, take the wrist gently with a few fingers and just cross friction, rub those fingers back and forth a little bit, and then up and down. So a thumb on the back and the fingers on the front, and then we'll turn it, put the fingers on the back and the thumb on the front, gentle little movements up and down, and then circles, little circles. Give that hand a shake. Use the other hand to hold below the wrist, give it a shake, and trade. Pointer finger, little squeeze, little squeeze. Then move to the next one, little squeeze, little squeeze, little squeeze. Three of them on each finger. Pinky, thumb, two squeezes. And then grab the outer edge and give it a little bit of massage, rubbing that muscular tissue that operates that most important digit on our hand. Move to the wrists. Start to move up and down. There's that band, ligament band across the wrist. Kind of go with the grain. The fibers run up and down like this. So if we go with the grain at first and strip it on the other side, and then go against the grain, so that's back and forth, is against the grain of that band on the wrist. This will help to tell you if you are developing any carpal tunnel. This will be quite painful right through the middle of the hand here. And then get that other side, nice little stripping, find anything that might be painful. And then go against the grain, back and forth. And then do some circles in the wrist. Give it a shake. Hold both hands up. Open those palms up. Give me 2 stop signs. Turn those fingers down. Oh, it's already getting tight. Turn those fingers towards the groin and attempt to set the finger pads on the mat in front of you. If you can, roll into each and every finger and then set the base of the fingers down the circumference of the palm. Ooh, it's getting tight. Bending those elbows just a little bit if you can. If the wrists and the palms are up off the earth, then just gently try to rock back and forth to put just a little bit more weight into those hands. So of course, we're working on any finger, hand issues, wrist issues, forearm issues. Okay, release it nice and gentle. And hold those hands above the heart. And then maybe give them a little, make small fists real gentle, nice and soft. And bring them back to life. And then maybe give them a little bit of shake. Let's go ahead and hold those hands back out in front of us and drop the fingers towards the earth. So the backs of the hands are facing me. Drop your finger. There you go. Let those hands hang. Okay, now we're going to take one hand with the other hand. The thumb is going to go into the bend of, this is better. The thumb is going to go here at the crook of the hand on the other side. The fingers are going to set down on top of the hand. And then you're going to gently pull the fingers towards the body with the elbow straight. Whee! Maybe move it down a little bit, see if you get a little more stretch through that. Maybe move it up a little bit. It's just like the hamstrings. When you move that leg around, up and down, you'll find different areas of tension. You can even roll it in a little bit and roll it out a little bit. Find out where that really feels great to you. You know you're doing a lot of good in that rest. So this rotation is only at the radius and ulna. That shoulder's not moving. One more. All right, gently release. That's a big stretch for the hand, and give it a couple of circles. And if you so choose, a few shakes. And again, dishwater. This is Dawn dishwashing soap, right? That commercial from the 50s. I've been soaking in Dawn dishwashing. Take that thumb at the crease. Oh, too much television as a child. I tell you what. Fingers on the back of the hand. Stretch. Breathe. See if you've lost your breath. Deepen and lengthen that breath and see if you can exhale and tighten up the back of that wrist a little bit. Almost there. And when you feel complete, this one stretches really easily for me. It's got a lot of range. I was raising that shoulder. Care that you don't do that too. I caught myself with that shoulder up into the ear. And then move your hand a little bit. See if those different changes. Maybe get a little depth on one spot that's getting a little tighter and inflamed. So anytime you hear the word itis, if you have bursitis, anything like that, it's an inflammation. All right, and circles. Stuff some circles. Reverse. So that helps to take care of arthritic issues that you may be developing. Also helps take care of some carpal tunnel issues that you may be developing. And now let's get into the elbows a little bit, because all of the muscles that operate the hand and the wrist pretty much originate on either side of the elbow. So to remember who does what is the outside opens the hand or moves the hand out. The inside moves the hand in, and you can feel those when you put your fingers on either side of those elbows and flex, make a fist, and you can feel that inside kind of pulse and move, and then open the hand and try to open the hand further and further and feel that outside flex. So these are the points of golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. So that's epicondylitis is what it's called. Itis is irritation. So with these, to help this, let's take either side of those elbows. On the bony spots, you might want to take a little bend to the elbow and give those a nice friction massage, circular, going in circles on these bony spots, and be gentle with it. If you find any really tender spots, go ahead and just gently press into it and hold for about 8 to 10 seconds. And then kind of relax just a little bit and take the opposite hand and give these muscles, these main muscles that operate the hand, a little bit of squeeze. And then maybe go to the other side and give it a little squeeze. And if you find any owies in there, again, give it a little tension, pinch and hold, 8 to 10 seconds, and breathe into it. I sometimes find issues right in between the ulna and the radius, about halfway up the arm. So right in between those two bones. I find, oh yeah, issues. There's some tender spots there for me. Whee! And after we're done with that, we're going to take all those toxins we just worked out and give it a little squeeze and push those down into the body. Reach that arm up, back of the hand, the palm facing the back of the body. Drop the palm between the shoulder blades. Use the other hand to gently stretch those triceps. Here, Jane. Up here. And then grab the top of the elbow and Stretch the tricep. There you go. You'll feel how that kicks those shoulders open, heart open. Careful with how much extension you allow into that low back if you have back issues. And then release that, give it a shake. And let's get into that other arm. Go ahead and find those little nodules on the elbows. And you can even actually rest your hand down on your knee or hold it up. Sometimes I like to hold it above the heart. Give a few flexes and extensions. Really palm those hands. Feel any of these little fibers that are having any pains when you're flexing and extending. And then go ahead and work on through the muscles. Give those muscles a little squeeze and find any issues in those forearms between the bones. Woo, there's one again. On the outside. Ah, give those arms a little shake. Push your stuff out. Come to the middle of the mat. Reach those arms out. Oh, we didn't do the tricep stretch on that other side. We can do it right here. So bring that hand back in behind you. Go to the other side. All right. One more long deep breath here. And release that. Roll through those shoulders. Reverse roll of the shoulders. Okay, with the feet to the mat and the hips nice and square, we're gonna find these quadratus lumborum muscles that ride on either side of the spine. So if you want to reach back and find the base of your rib cage, and then follow either side of the spine down, and it might be kind of tender to you, all the way to the top of the pelvis. That is quadratus lumborum. That is the main muscle responsible for lateral flexion. So we're going to work on that quadratus lumborum a little bit here. So yeah, go ahead and feel yourself and feel that lateral flexion with a nice square, keeping those shoulders square right over the hips. Go ahead and put your hands on your shoulders and go back and forth a little bit. So we've stabilized the pelvis, so the bottom of this quadratus lumborum is not moving. The top of the quadratus lumborum is pulling the rib cage towards the pelvis. The pelvis is stable, so the other side is pulling in. And the reason I'm explaining this is because we're going to get ourselves down onto the ground and try to get both of those sides to work, the top and the bottom of quadratus lumborum. And then we're going to get a nice deep stretch in there. So reach those arms out and tuck that tailbone and roll on down, or hook the hamstrings, tuck the tailbone and roll on down. Let's go ahead and get a nice long body stretch here, and we will be stretching that QL, that quadratus lumborum. Reaching the arms out long. And now with a nice banana stretch here, we walk the feet to one side, clasp the opposite wrist, and arc over to that side. Try to keep the shoulder blade and the hips on the earth. Dry throat. Long deep breath here. Feel that stretch through the rib cage and on into that quadratus lumborum. The more you try to roll that hip towards the earth, the more you'll feel that stretch. Inhale, come to the center, and trade sides, getting into that other QL, that other side stretch. This one feels kind of tight to me. And I can tell that I'm not able to move into the stretch as much on the upper body as I was the other side. And then come on and walk on back into a neutral position. Exhale, bring those hands over the head, bend the knees, place the feet on the mat. Lengthen through the spine, make sure that pelvis is in a nice relaxed position, low back rolling in towards the earth. We're going to come into a supine quadruped, so we're going to engage through the core and bring the knees right over the tops of the hips. The feet can be relaxed, no need to over engage. Engage through that core, press the low back gently to the earth. Now let's match the arms to the legs by reaching the arms up and bending in the elbows. Now gently let both of the extremities, upper and lower, drop out to the sides. It's going to be a nice tight stretch. The legs will not go as far as the arms. So kind of keep the arms up in line with the knees. Now let's try to bring the right elbow and knee together and engage through that quadratus lumborum, lifting those hips up, drawing the rib cage to the top of the pelvis. Inhale, come to a neutral. Exhale, bring the opposite sides together. So let me show you in a standing position where you're going to be. And I'm laying down here, so I'm bringing the elbow and the knee together, the rib and the top of the pelvis together on one side, and then bringing it over to the other side. But the pelvis is going to move and the shoulder girdle is going to move, okay? So this is a really difficult movement to focus on. When you're trying to maintain the low back pressing to the earth and then engaging through that quadratus lumborum, hold the rib cage and the top of the pelvis together, which automatically brings the elbow and the knee together. You can even interlace the fingers behind the head to help support that head a little bit and draw back and forth. Do this a few more times. Gently drawing one side together and then the other side together. Last one here. Come to a neutral spine. Let's draw those legs up and then into the chest. Draw the arms around the legs. Give those legs a nice big hug. That was a deep hip opener while trying to focus on a specific muscle. The reason I went after that particular muscle is because it is a culprit in low back pain. Okay. Let's go ahead and set those feet back down on the earth, and we're going to stretch out that QL just one more time, but we're going to take that stretch a little deeper. So take your blanket that we were sitting on, press the feet, lift the hips, and slide the blanket underneath the hips. Reach those legs out along the earth. Reach the arms back up over the head. And now come back into that banana stretch with those hips elevated a little bit. Walking the legs to one side, clasping that outside wrist. Roll that outside hip down, and now pick up that outside ankle and set it on the inside ankle. Long, deep breath here. Inhale, release the upper body, gently uncross the legs, and come into the neutral position. Let's walk back to that other side, walking those legs off, arcing the upper body over and crossing that outside ankle. Long, deep breath. Try to let the glutes go a little bit. Try to keep rolling that outside shoulder and hip towards the earth. Allowing the ribs to separate and keep the breath flowing. You can help to accentuate and stretch a little deeper with a targeted long deep breath in on that outer rib cage. Let's walk it all back into the center line. Exhale, bend the legs, place the feet on the mat. Lift those hips back up and pull that blanket out from underneath our hips. Release the hips down, draw the knees into the chest, and rock it back and forth, side to side, let it out. So another culprit of low back pain is, of course, the piriformis muscle, a hip rotator. So we're going to go ahead and set those feet down on the earth and grab our strap. And we're going to strap up the left knee. So you can fold your strap in half, and then we're going to put the strap on the left knee. Then we're going to take the right ankle, the outside right ankle, and set it on top of that left knee. Do your best. That left foot is still on the earth. If you can get it there, if you can stay there. And then we're going to gently pull on that strap and draw that left leg toward us, deepening the stretch. Oh, hello, sweetheart. I love your little bulldog there, Sue. Exhale. So here's our figure 4 stretch, but we've added the strap to take any of the tension out of the hip flexors for trying to draw that left knee into the chest. Let the legs just ride along as those arms draw those legs towards the body. This takes, a lot of the difficulty out of this figure 4 stretch. Really allows the body to target those external hip rotators. You're relaxing the rest of the body. Let that left ankle be nice and soft and that foot hang. To guard the knee, you can pull the right toes back towards that right knee. Take a few more breaths here. And gently release, letting that strap slide out of the hands, and that left foot comes back to the earth. Uncross the right ankle, remove the strap from the left knee, and go ahead and do a little windshield wiper action here, letting those knees drift back and forth, side to side. And when you feel nice and released, go ahead and take that strap and place it on the right knee. foot down to the earth, and then pick up the left leg and place the outer left ankle on the top of that right knee. Exhale gently and roll the top of the pelvis to the earth as we draw that right leg into the heart using the arms and the strap. Keep the hips nice and loose. And that should allow you to get a little deeper into this piriformis stretch. Keep trying to relax all those lower extremity muscles, those leg muscles. Tighten up on that strap maybe a little bit and pull a little closer to the heart. Take the breath long. A few more breaths here. Relax that right ankle. Relax that right foot. And slowly let that strap slide back out of your hands as that right foot makes its way back to the earth. Again, uncross, open those feet up a little bit, and windshield wipers to let this go. And now we're going to get into those internal rotators by dropping both of the knees to the right side of the mat. So windshield wiper both the knees to the outside of the mat. Both of the feet are still on the outsides of the mat as well. Then we're going to take that outside right ankle and slip it up to the outside left knee. Use a little weight. And that will then stretch through that outside left hip. See if you can see how we're set up here. Like so, if you're having a hard time with that. There we go. Now use that right leg a little bit to press that inside left knee a little closer to the earth, deepening the stretch of these internal hip rotators. Take a few more breaths. Inhale, slide that right foot off of the outside left knee. Pick the knees up. Windshield wiper a couple more times. And then dropping off to the left side, that left outer ankle comes to the outside right thigh or knee, wherever is most comfortable. And then let the weight of that left leg stretch through those internal rotators and on the outside of that right hip. Long, deep breaths. Try to let the body relax into this. If you find any gripping in the hips or legs, try to let it go consciously. If it is bearing too much pressure through the joint, back out. Gently slide that left foot off that right knee. Bring those knees up and windshield wiper back and forth a couple times. Ah, very good. Letting those knees, draw the entire body over to the side. And another culprit of low back pain is latissimus dorsi, which is the muscle that starts at the bottom of the pelvis and reaches up and out to attach to the humerus, the arm. It's responsible for pulling those arms down. That is one of the main back muscles that helps to abduct those arms down towards the sides. So being that it's all the way up the back and the side body a little bit, it prevents and tightens rotation. So when you rotate, you can feel how tight it is right through the center of this rib cage. So we're going to try and find a little bit of rotation in this sideline position. So grab that blanket and place it between the knees. Try and keep the pelvis and the hips in a nice neutral position. If you need something under your head, go ahead and place something under your head. Reach those arms out in front of you. Get the legs in a nice, comfortable, kind of neutral position. Inhale, open up that top arm, and then let that arm drop back and behind you while you're holding your knees together. You'll feel this right in the back of that rib cage. Possibly a little bit through that front pectoral muscle, the front of that shoulder. That's also another reason why we're tight in the front body. Can cause shoulder issues. You keep trying to reach that back hand out and make that shoulder blades way closer to the earth. Then draw that top pelvis forward, stacking it right, stacking the left hip right over the top of the right. Core is gently engaged. Get a little more stretch here. Try to find a few more breaths. Last breath. And gently bend that extended arm, the elbow. Bring the hand to the front of the shoulder and gently unrotate. Rest here for a breath or two. You can draw the arms into the chest and just let that latissimus dorsi and those rotators relax for just a moment. And coming to the other side, either just go ahead and roll over with the blanket in between your knees. I'm going to do a complete shift pivot for y'all. And again, find yourself first in a nice, comfortable position, stacking the top hip right over the bottom hip, attempting to stack the top shoulder right over the bottom. Inhale, float that top arm up and gaze to the ceiling as it reaches up. And then exhale, release it back and behind you. Feel that rotation through the middle rib cage, through the thoracic area. Now gently engage through the core and draw that top hip forward into a squared position. You might need to adjust the knees and hips a little bit. Breathe into this deep rotation and this heart opening. Keep making minor adjustments as these muscles stretch and elongate. You may need to just gently draw a hip forward a little or readjust the shoulders. Take a few more long, deep breaths. And before we lift this arm from the earth, go ahead and bend the elbow. Take most of the weight out of the arm and then roll it forward. Reach it back out and rest. Draw those arms into the heart. Give the body just a little release here, a little relax. Let the body integrate how that stretch felt. Let the fibers kind of come back together gently. And from here, we're going to use those strong arms to gently press off the earth and bring ourselves up into a long seating position. We're going to have the strap and the blanket for the next sequence of stretches. And we're still into those hips and those low backs, what causes issues in walking and sitting and any low back pain, of course. So we're going to stretch the hamstrings, but we're going to do it one leg at a time. So we're going to extend those legs and just bounce them a little bit, kind of wake those hamstrings and quadriceps up a little bit. And then we're going to pedal those toes to kind of wake up those calf muscles a little bit. Get some blood flowing through these. I feel that hamstrings need to be warmed a little bit before we get into a deep stretch. Unlike a lot of other muscles where you can get into a nice cold stretch and just go for it. Hamstrings, the backs of the legs are so grumpy that sometimes they need a little warming. Okay, so we're going to bend that left knee. And we're going to bring that blanket underneath that left leg as that left leg drops out to the left side. And then we're going to bring the sole of the foot into either the knee or the calf or the thigh, wherever it's comfortable. Now, if this leg can drop out further, go ahead and release some of that leg support. This leg needs to be more comfortable because we are attacking this extended leg. Okay, so we don't need to be worrying about any pinching hip in here. So if your hips pinch, slide that leg out a little bit and support it so it's relaxed. Now take your strap and strap the foot of the extended leg. And let's start with a nice long spine here. Plug those sits bones into the earth and lengthen through the crown of the head. Reach those arms towards the toes. The strap is there to lengthen your arms. And on the exhale, allow the body to just flex at the hips. Now, if you feel discomfort in that left hip, back out, readjust that left hip. We want to feel this from the hiney to the heel on that extended leg. I'm sorry, I'm cueing backwards. I moved one way and then I cued the other. So the extended leg on you is the left leg, or the right leg, I'm sorry. Whatever side I took you to. I'm a little backwards today.
Right.
That's right, and I'm in my right mind. And any left-handed person is backwards and in our right mind. Keep that heart open. Shoulders down. No tension in the upper body. We just stretch that upper body out and work it real well. So pull those toes back on that straight leg. Press that knee to the earth. Oh, we lost and whoops. What did that happen? Exhale. Gently let the heart drift towards the knee. Keep the head up. That bent knee and leg is nice and comfortably rolled out to the side. And for these hamstring and quadricep stretches, we want to do a low load, prolonged stretch, which means we don't put a lot of weight through the stretch. We just come to the tension and breathe through it and let gravity and time lengthen the back of those grumpy hamstring legs. Take about 5 more long deep breaths and really try to let the body drift towards that extended legs knee. Slowly but surely, you'll close that distance with the heart still open, head still up, shoulders relaxed. Breathing in, you'll feel that Buddha belly pressing against that thigh as you inhale. Exhale, let it come just a little bit deeper. 2 more breaths here, guys. Inhale. Use the arms if you need a little help. Gently press up. Moving gently, let the arms help those legs. Slide that bent leg out, bounce those knees a little bit. Those feet, round through the ankles, roll through the hips. Anything that makes those legs relax, release, and feel better. And finding that on the other side, let's switch to blanket and the strap. Bending that other knee. There she is. There you are. You disappeared on us, Anne.
I lost power, sorry.
Oh, phooey. Well, we just stretched one leg, so if you missed the whole leg stretch, you're going to have to do that on the back side of class. Let's get into the other leg so you'll know what we're doing. So we are working to stretch the other leg, so we're bending that opposite knee and letting that leg drift on out to the side. Bring the sole of the foot into the inside of that straight leg. The blanket supports that leg that's rolled out and folded and bent. No pinching through the hip. So if you have any pinching, readjust. Take your strap, strap up your straight leg's foot. Take one strap in each side of the hands, lengthen through the spine. Reach through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, allow the body to gently come forward. Ooh-wee. You'll know what side needs the most work. It will tell you. Breathe into any feelings of gripping in the back of that leg. Try to visually relax those hamstring muscles. Release the back of that knee. Long deep breath. Keep allowing that relaxation to lower the body just a little further and gain a little length in those hamstrings and the calf muscles. The more you pull that toe towards the heart, the more you incorporate these calf muscles into this stretch. Inhale, feel that Buddha belly press against those legs. Exhale, let the body weight drop forward just a little further. A few more breaths here. Last long deep breath. Gently press through those legs and allow the arms to help walk the body back up. Again, let those hands help those legs. Extend those legs back out. Remove your strap, give your little bouncies, your little rolling, some foot pedaling. All righty, last section to go after for injuries and itises. We're into itises today, if you couldn't tell. So the last one is the feet and ankles. So we're going to be sitting on our feet to stretch the bottom surface of the foot, which is where we get plantar fasciitis. So in order to stretch that, we're going to curl those toes underneath us. So go ahead and kick off to one side and bring those legs underneath you. If it's too tight on your knees, put that blanket on the calves. If it's too much on the bottom of the knees, try to get some padding under there. So hopefully you have two blankets, Sue. This is, I think you're the one that would need the blanket behind the knees and under the knees. I'm okay without a blanket around my knees, so I am just going to curl my toes into the mat and set down onto my heels. So the more weight you put through those heels, the more stretch you get on the bottom surface of those feet. And you can reach back and feel your feet and find out where you're tightest at. And again, we can kind of shift weight a little bit through the outside of the toes and the big toe and see what area of your foot is tightest. You can lean back a little bit, deepening that stretch. You can even intensify it completely and lift the knees up. Oh, that gets really tight because that puts all of your body weight through those curled toes. It also does a lot for your balance too. But we're kind of working mainly on stretch, so kind of keep that balance component backed out. Maybe walk the knees up and down a few times. Take a few more long, deep, slow breaths. The bottoms of the feet are a lot like the hamstrings. They need a lot of long hold, because they're predominantly tendinous and fibrous, and those fibers don't stretch, and they don't heal fast either. One more breath. And come on, off of those feet, walking to all fours, and then just kind of pedal your feet and wiggle your toes. Maybe make toe curls, making little fists with your toes, and then splaying the toes way out. And then set the toenails and the tops of the feet to the earth, and let's come back again and set down on those ankles, on those heels. And if this is tight for you, stay right there. If you can feel like you can actually sit on those ankles and they're opened up, walk the hands forward a little bit. Press through the hands and maybe lift those knees up a little bit. And again, find your spot that it's a good tension, but you're not feeling gripping or pain. Maybe walk the weight back a little further. Again, I have really loose ankles. And the further back your weight goes into the tops of the feet, the longer the front of those ankles get. A few more breaths here. Got this. Walking those knees down, walking that body forward into all fours, pedal those feet, roll those ankles. And let's go ahead and bring those legs off to one side and kick the legs out in front of us. For our final asana, we're going to come into Shavasana, but we're going to let that Shavasana gently open us up through the heart. So we're going to take our blanket lengthwise again, hold it in the long tube, and set it down where it will go right from the base of the pelvis, up the back, and hopefully our head will drop off of that blanket. So hook your hamstrings, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself down, and find yourself on the blanket where the head will gently drop back off the blanket. You can let the knees be straight and let those legs drop out to the side. Or if it feels good, bend the knees and let the knees drop in towards each other to keep the pelvis in a nice neutral position while the heart is gently being opened. The shoulders are drifting towards the earth. Lengthen through the breath. Feel this nourishing breath. Give oxygen and fresh nutrients to all of the structures that we just stretched and opened in your body. If you have a particularly tight or painful area today that we went through, or you found any new areas that you did not know about, send the breath and love into those areas. If the mind gets distracted or tries to get busy planning what to do after class, bring it back into the body, into the breath. Bring it home. Keep focusing on the home of the mind, cleaning and repairing the spaces in which you live. Deepen and lengthen the breath. Gently activate the nervous system and begin wiggling fingers and toes. Pedaling feet, moving through your wrists. Gently bumping the knees up and down. Gently flexing and extending the elbows. Gently roll through the hips and roll through the shoulders. Engage through the core, flex the hips and the knees. Place the feet on the mat. Turn and nod the head. Swallow, smile, stick out your tongue, cross your eyes, gaze up, relax the eyeballs and flutter the eyelids. Grimace, and roll on over to one side. Take a couple of long, deep breaths here. Allow the body to acclimate and integrate. And gently press yourself up into a nice, easy seated position. Take this peace and healing with you through 2021. With palms together at the heart center, press the base of the palms up into the sternum. Sit up tall. Seal your intention set early in class. Thank yourself once again for arriving on your mat. I thank you for allowing me to guide your practice this beautiful first day of the year. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we be healed. May we be a source of healing for other beings. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. Take this opening in love with you through the rest of the day and year. Namaste.
Namaste.
And drink plenty of water. We did a lot of itis removal.